Hello everyone, welcome back to the Big Bad Bench. My name is John, aka Big Bad Biologist, and today we are going to destroy potentially two perfectly good motherboards. Well, one kinda sorta perfectly good motherboard and one that works, but it's still kinda sad. So what we're going to do is do a CPU swap. Side note, I got a G4 3DFX Voodoo 5 5500 and it kind of sort of works. Oh my god, I'm still excited about this. So this will be the topic of another stream. We'll get back to that at some point, but I just keep telling myself, oh my gosh, I got one. Kind of excited, kind of stupid excited about this. So let's go to the Big Bad Bench. We got a board working. Oh yeah, behind me you can see we have this one working, and it's real sad. It really does not do real well. So this is a 386SX-16 megahertz motherboard and processor. You can see we got old school dip RAM. When we tried it yesterday, there was 1 meg. I rooted through all my stuff and I found another 1 meg that I slapped on there, and that seems to be working pretty good. But it's a 386SX-16, which is just awful. And so this is a 486 SLC2-50. And so basically what this gets us is it gets us the 486 instruction set. We get 1K of cache, and we get a 2x multiplier, right? And so if we swap this over, this should look like basically a 33 megahertz processor. Then we could potentially change the crystal, bring it up from there. And so I don't know if people would mind if we do one thing real quick, because the other thing on the Big Bad Bench is that we have the power supply from the IBM PS2 model 50, and I recapped it and I want to see if it explodes. So would people mind if we check out and see if this power supply explodes first? Because I kind of want to see that. I've been waiting to power it on until I had video going, because if it explodes, you know, you all love that stuff. All right. So, oh shoot, I also got to say hi to folks in the chat. Hi, folks in the chat. We got a lot of people here today. Geez, I'm gonna miss some people, I'm sure. Dave's Vintage Apple Tech, Jamie's Hack Shack. Speaking of Jamie's Hack Shack, Jamie has some epic stickers. Thank you. If you don't happen to know Jamie's YouTube channel, I don't know how you're here and you don't know his channel. Does some really cool tinkering projects, vintage computers, you name it, he does it on his channel. Sent me some awesome stickers. Thank you so much, Jamie. Gut Bomb is here. Francois Raval. Garth Beagle. Hey, Garth. Epictronics is here. Tech Ambrosia is here. I8038SX and Jack68K and Trina's Techno Babble. Wow, Chris Angelis, Ian Scott, Mac84. Geez, who isn't here today? Kai Robinson is here. How's it going, Mr. Tech Gadget? All right, thank you all for being here today. So, I8038SX says, you look like you're in need of a coaster and a bag. You have really cool swag as well. My stickers are crap compared to all the stuff that you all are doing. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I have my power switch. I have this currently off. I think we switched this to on, and I'm going to switch this. I like to do it away, so just in case. 3, 2, 1. Okay, no explosions, so that's something. We'll take that. Do we have power LED? Yeah. I think we got a power LED. So let's check the voltages on this thing real quick. So this thing is the thing, and we'll have some voltages. Ooh, I was kind of worried about it exploding because, let's see, what do we got here? 50, what was 50? Power good is 50. That's not good. We got no power. Well, we got some power. Yeah, that's not real great. Oof. Oof, people. So, let's see. There's our negative 12. Well, there's our 12. That thing is the system status. Yeah, the power good signal is still low. Well, we'll have to play with that some more. But that is not great. So this thing was really gross and rusty. I cleaned up all the rust. That's why it's painted in the gray color now. So yeah, that's kind of sad. I was hoping that would just like look real nice. Look at how weird this topology on this power supply is. So you got the electric coming in, then it comes across here, it goes all the way to this side of the switch, and it comes over here, and then we have our primary side, and then it comes out to the secondary side over here and does some stuff. This thing is all over the place. But I'll have to come back and check that another time. Okay, back to the task at hand. What's the crud on top of the big caps? Basically, they glued little plastic things on top of there to prevent it from shorting out, I guess. All right, so first up, we're gonna take the processor off of this guy. So let's do that under the microscope. And we're going to use the hot air set to 350 degrees. Let's see. There's that. You should be able to see now. Yeah. Oh gosh, now we're bright today. Yesterday we were not so bright. Yeah, there was no kaboom. Sorry, folks. Actually, I'm kind of happy there was no boom. One of the things I did, there's a 220 microfarad. Why are we not focusing? There we go. That's kind of focused. There's a 220 microfarad 80 volt cap in there, and I didn't have an 80 volt, so I used a 50 volt. Based off of where it was in the power supply, there shouldn't have been 80 volts, but I don't know. I just wanted to see if that power supply would explode. So we're going 350. Just kind of slowly heat this. You don't want to go too nuts with one of these. You don't want to apply too much force. Just keep working. Eventually it'll get there. Happy little solder. Just gonna be real patient with this. So there is a thread on Vogon's, I think it was Vogon's, about doing a CPU swap like this. And it seemed like most people agreed that it would probably work. There was some consternation about whether the processor was a 3.3 volt or 5 volt. Okay, see, we're loose. Oh gosh, we did it wrong. We did it wrong. Everything is wrong. Okay, we're good. So Trina said I should put the flux around the chip. So when I take chips off, generally I don't flux them. Sorry, we'll come over to the other one now. I'm gonna unplug some stuff first. There we go. Okay. So once we're taking stuff off, I generally don't need to take the flux off if everything is in good shape. And this is all nice and clean. That all looks good. Okay, so that's good. We'll set you aside. Let's remember where pin 1 is. So it's pointing towards me so that we put the processor back on the right way, because that's kind of important, as we learned with the Model 50. You always got to make sure your processor goes in the right way. They don't work when they go in the wrong way. Yes, Sloopy is more of an expert than me, so you can trust Sloopy if you want. But generally for removal, I don't go. And what I'm gonna do is, we have a, this socket is relatively close. So we're gonna use the Big Bad Bench official heat shield of a rusty razor blade. the rust adds extra heat shielding. And I think what I'm going to do is get some more robust tweezers. All right, removal time. It doesn't hurt to add flux. We're about to flux the heck out of this thing though when we go and put these back on. And you can kind of see sometimes that the solder gets a little shiny. I'm not going to pull on it until we're sure it's totally gone or totally loose. Stay calm, people. Stay calm. There we go. We're making progress here. Let's go clockwise after going counterclockwise. Just to change things up. Functionally, it doesn't do anything. Okay, here we go. Alright, you can see that time I actually did go a little too quick. You can see there's 3 pins in the upper left that are still a little bit, it wasn't quite totally melted. But yeah, when stuff is crusty, it totally makes a difference. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to turn on big iron. We're going to flux up this area now. You can see when it's nice and warm, that solder or the flux flows real nice. And we can get rid of our heat shield. Steve uses a lot of flick because usually my stuff is crusty. Yeah, if you have crusty stuff, use a lot of flick. Okay. So we're going to use big iron here because we're taking off a lot of residual solder. You can see this new solder braid I got that was relatively cheap. Works pretty darn good. I'm going to be really careful here though, because you don't want to move these pins. When your pins move, you got some problems. And you can see I'm moving the solder braid with the tip of the soldering iron. Don't pull on the solder braid itself. Be nice if I had a couple more inches of wire for my soldering iron, but this will be okay. We're almost done. Okay, so for folks also that are into like benchmarking, I put benchmark links in the video description of some stuff that I was working on this morning to show you the 2 systems before, so the other board, what its benchmarks were and what this board was. Unfortunately, we are stuck with only 2 megs of RAM, so I haven't been able to run all the benchmarks, so we didn't quite get everything. But I think we're going to have a pretty good sense of the before and after. The other issue is I wanted to use my fastest ISA video card that I have to alleviate that as a benchmarking bottleneck, which is the, what is it? The Diamond Speedstar 64. And this board would not boot with that video card. So we had to use the Stealth VRAM, which is slightly, well, significantly slower card, but it's okay. All right, so you can see here, we got the processor in the right way, theoretically. And I'm just going to use the residual solder that's on the pins of the chip to tack it down. You can see we also put a lot of flux everywhere to encourage maximum flow. And so if you're a total pro at this, probably Kai Robinson and Gutbaum, they're probably freaking out right now and being like, just drag solder that thing. Well, I'm not a pro, and I don't have the right tips for that. So we're gonna solder each tip, each pin, one by one. It's kind of janky, but it's what we got here. Look at how nice that is. Oh, that's nice. Nice shiny solder joints. Okay. I803886SX says, not enough flux. Louis Rossmann, probably. That is very true. Let's see. Louis Rossmann would probably drag solder. Oh yeah, yesterday in the stream I forgot to say how much I paid for the Voodoo 5 5500. Do folks want to make a guess before I tell you? Oh, I made a bridge. Oh, we got a bridge. Oh, John. You bridged it, John. Okay, so what we're gonna do, yeah, that's kind of why I stopped watching Louis Rossmann, Jack. I used to learn some stuff, but he's sort of gone off the deep end. So I'm just using the finest tweezers I have right now to go in and double check that all these pins are soldered. They all look good. Okay, let's come in and do this side. That's some nice work. Oh, just as I was smelling myself. Don't smell yourself. You fluxy mess. There we go. So what I did there, I just kept pulling a little bit of solder, transferring it to a new joint, and eventually we got enough of it off there. And I probably don't need to do this, but just wanted to double check. All right, let's check all the pins on that side. Okay. I'm gonna unplug this thing and flip it around the other way. Sorry, folks. One moment. Okay, here we go. Epictronics is telling me to drag solder after I just said I'm not gonna drag solder. Epictronics, you're such a pro. Yeah, I should have mentioned you as one of the pros. I'm also running low on flux, which is why I don't want it. But also, I don't have the right tip. You really want one of those like horse hoof shaped tips, and I just don't have one of those. And again, this is my backup tip. A couple weeks ago on stream, we bent my favorite tip that I have. Clean my tip. God, no guesses. No guesses on how much I paid for the Voodoo? Not that it was an incredible deal, but just interested to see what people think they would go for. Okay. Tech Ambrosia says $5. $1 million, says Garth Beagle. I don't have your kind of money, Garth Beagle. All right, that's that side, and I still got to go back and check this side. I don't think we ever checked that side. We're getting close, though. I feel the nerves kicking in. Okay. All right. I think we're soldered. Solid, solid, solid. All right. That's a shout out to Northridge Fix, as Garth Beagle implied. All right, electricity. thing is off. Let's turn this electricity on. Okay, what do people think? Is this gonna work or no? Electronics is saying the flux. This one, technically, this is a no clean flux, but I will clean it eventually. I just wanted, if this doesn't work, then we're not gonna leave it on there. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, nada. We got nothing. Dang, that's sad. Make sure just something didn't get dislodged. Dang. All right, so one thing we could do real quick is to just see if anything is bridged, which I don't think so. And we'll just double check that everything is. Well, see, so Garth asks, would the BIOS know what to do with it? So that's one of the things, like theoretically, it shouldn't really matter. It should kind of see it as a 386. Let's add a little isopropanol, clean this up. It'll make doing all the beeps easier. So the pinouts are almost identical. There are a few pins that are slightly different, but they shouldn't be pins that really matter. I'll also be interested. I think what I want to do is put the 386 processor on the other board. Let's see. Let's just double check real quick that everything is actually soldered down. It's gonna be a lot of beeping, sorry folks. Oh, that's on. All these pins here shouldn't really matter because they're the ones that are almost all non-connects. Okay, they're all looking soldered nicely. Beep, beep, beep. Okay, so now what we gotta do is the other thing. Some of them are double connected, or like some of the ones right next to each other are connected. I don't know if that one is. And that little small beep that you hear, that's not really anything. That one shows a connection. Oh, yeah, they're all connected. Okay, that's fine. It's a bunch of power over here. So there is going to be multiple. See, that's a big connection. That one should be a big connection. Okay. Yeah, the small beep is the caps on the board charging up. And it looks like that one might not supposed to be like that. It's sort of comparing to the other board. Three and four. Well, that's not really 3 and 4, but let's see. Yeah, I don't think they're supposed to be connected. That's interesting. That's weird. Yeah, that's doing that too. Now these two down here are supposed to be connected. Yeah. Oh, you know what I didn't check? Oh yeah, that's actually not connected. That's a small voltage drop. So that's probably the 5-volt rail. That's fine. These are all fine. That one's a voltage drop. You gotta watch with the beep mode. If you do beep mode and you get a beep and there's like a small number, that's probably fine. That one, those two are actually the same. 5-volt rails on these things tend to be a little noisy. fine. That's fine. Those two are tied together. They're supposed to be. It might not like the processor. That's sad. I really wanted to make this board sexy. Oh, we did those. Okay. All right, let's try this one more time. Oh, thank you for double checking. I was doing some comparisons to this board. You can kind of see where things are supposed to be bridged, and you can also see where we got a bunch of no connects. So I don't think it's shorted. I think it just can't see the processor, which is really sad and kind of weird. Kind of weird. All right, do we still have everything plugged in? Yep. Yep. Yep, we got nothing. And so one of the things you can see is that it does come out of reset. Oh. But then it, so this is the reset button there, or reset light. Comes out of reset, but it just doesn't execute anything. That's sad. Oh, you sad computer. All right, well, let's try going the opposite direction. Let's stick the 386SX into this board. The third and fourth to the left are VCC and VSS, so they shouldn't be connected. They were not. It was just that there was enough resistance in there that the beep mode saw it as a connection. And I think if we were to look here with ohms, if we look at here, if we go and find a 5 volt, this is probably going to be a 5 volt. Yeah, it's like 122 ohms. So that's kind of, that's enough resistance that it's going to probably cause beep mode to beep. Yeah, that's what we were seeing on the processor. So it was just the 5 volt rail being low resistance, which is something you see on these boards a lot. Okay, so let's go to this little guy. Oh, I should probably turn the microscope on. Let's see, microscope. Let's see if this little guy can use a 386 processor. Where did I put my solder braid? So this doesn't mean that no 386SX board would work. It just means that this one is a particularly old, I mean, it's basically a 286 board. So I'm not totally surprised that it didn't like it. When you have dip memory on a 386, you know you're dealing with an old system. Flow, you jerk. Okay, there we go. All right, I can get away with old iron. Now this should go like this. We did a good job taking them off. I didn't mangle the pins. If this were a 68030, I would have mangled the heck out of that thing. Not on purpose. It's just that I'm incompetent. Come on. Oh. So if you're a pro, oh, that's why there's a little bit of solder left there. It's gonna bother me. Okay, that should help it sit down a little bit nicer. What are you doing? What are you there, guy? Shoot, what was I saying? Was I saying something? Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Boop. Let's flex it up. So yeah, if you're an ultimate pro, you could just use the hot air to do these. I am definitely not that good. Push them down on it a little bit, make sure it's laying flat. That's better. Now we're good. So is the crystal slow enough on this board? That is a good question. So what we're gonna potentially do here, so there is a clock generator chip that lets you choose different frequencies. Based off of the configuration right now, it only lets you do 20 or 25 because they have one of the pins hardwired instead of having a jumper. So, oh my gosh, look at this mess I'm making. Oh, geez. Oh man, I'm just bridging them all. So we'll try it first at 20. See if we can overclock this little 386SX. And if not, then we're gonna have to change the hardwired jumper out. Just gonna take it all. There we go. There we go. Just be patient. Eventually it'll resolve. You can also use your... Oh, look at that. I made a triple. Gonna have to hit that with some more. We might have to use the solder braid to resolve that one. We lost all our luck soldering that first chip. Used it all up. There we go. Gonna have to use the braid on that one. It's resisting. There we go. See, that wasn't too bad. Okay. Oh my gosh. We literally used up all of our luck. There it goes. Okay, thank you. Thank you, little chip. Oh, you're not even on the screen. Jeez. Oh my gosh. This chip just wants to create bridges. This guy is not nice. Yeah, this is the walking it down technique. Ran out of places to walk it. That one's supposed to be bridged anyway, but there'll be people that would yell at me. Yeah, this chip is way more fighting me. It doesn't want to be soldered onto this board. It's like, what are you doing to me? I can't run at 20 megahertz. What do you think I am? Solder braid. There we go. Be interesting to see if, since that processor is coming out of reset, be interesting to see if we could find another BIOS for that board. It has a chipset, so maybe there's another CHIPS motherboard that we could use its BIOS from. Have to look around the retro web. There we go. And I think I just heard a squirrel in my workshop. That's what happens when you work in a barn. Alright, I just cleaned the tip. Doop, 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 doop. I'm not going to say solid. That's somebody else's thing. Doop, 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 doop. It's interesting to me that all those no connects are just floating. So whatever, maybe it just doesn't care. Oh, we missed one. Missed one. So that's what it looks like when you miss one. It's very easy to move. There we go. Okay. Okay. So those look good. Yeah, I need better tips. This iron, the Weller that I bought, the tips are so freaking expensive that I'm not a fan of buying more. But yeah, I'll have to eventually. I need to get one of those horseshoe tips or horse hoof tips, and I want to get a chisel tip. Just not on the priority list right now. Okay. Unless we have some sort of sponsor that wants to come and sponsor this mess. Hey, sponsors. Make it so I can afford a bunch of all the tips I want. Hey, Asmodeus. Okay. Oh, so we gotta change this jumper. Oh yeah, let me show you the jumpers. So this jumper changes it from, that should be 20 and that'll be 25. And then there's another one there that's hardwired. So that should get us our 16. All right, let's see if this goes. 3, 2, 1. Yep. That one works fine. There we go. So let's see, we're gonna go into here, standard. Yeah, let's do some things. Let's jump our year up a little bit just so that it has something. And, okay, right. So we're at 20 megahertz CPU clock. And let's go to our check CPU. Classic 386. 20 megahertz. Let's go to Norton sysinfo. $15.9. So if we go and look at our this thing, in the old board it was doing 15.2. This one it's doing 15.9. So this motherboard's a little faster than the other one, which is always fun. I guess the RAM should do a lot to help that. Let's go back to here. Oh, no, there. Let's get out of there. And let's go to SpeedSys. Since everyone loves SpeedSys, it's only going to take 6 hours to load on this computer. Heck, Ambrosia. I knew she would get excited about SpeedSys. 15% complete. This isn't tedious at all. Hey, Callan, how's it going? So you missed it. We failed. The Cyrix SLC2-50 does not work in that old motherboard. But we did take the 386SX and put it in the new motherboard. It's currently running at 20 megahertz. Oh, that could explain why it's a little bit faster. Yeah, that's right. The other board, if it was 15.2, this one was, what was it, 15.9. That the extra 4 megahertz should make a difference. Hi, Tony. So there's no problem, there's no cache problem because there's no, it just doesn't do anything. Theoretically, with the cache disabled, it should just act like a 386. So yeah, I think so one of the things with those SLC, the Cyrix SLC processors, since they have 1K internal cache, you can use a software to enable it if your BIOS doesn't see it. So that's one of the things I was sort of assuming, that it would just treat it like a regular 386. Okay, so here's our 3.44 for this processor, and in the other one it was 3.52. So yeah, we're basically the same performance, just we're overclocking this 386SX to 20 megahertz. Well, so 3.44 is better than Pi. There you go. So this old board will support a 386 processor, so that's fun to see. Unfortunately, the thing we really wanted to do was this guy. And so what I'll do is I'll look up this chipset and see if there are any newer boards that use this chipset. And I'll do that before I unsolder this processor and put this one back on. But yeah, that's kind of sad. And we'll see if we can find a different BIOS. This BIOS is very archaic, so there could be something weird there going on. Hey, Justin D. Morgan. So yeah, this is a thing that we did and failed. Oh yeah, I also wanted to show this. So if you saw Epictronics' last week's video, he went into some detail about some weirder, what are those things called? Dallas real-time clocks. And these RAM expansion boards have one of those weird Dallas real-time clocks. And so basically, and I'll show this on one of the other ones, you can take off the matrix around them. If you want to see someone do it nice, go look at Epictronics' video from last week. I hacked these to try to use them. I can't get these to work, so I'm interested. I have to go through the manual and see what's going on, but they're not registering any any RAM in them, which sucks. So 2 slightly different revisions, but even after adding CMOS batteries, they're not working. So that sucks. We're gonna have to figure that out eventually. What else? Do we have anything else? I don't know. I think we're kind of done for today. So yeah, I think we'll end it here. Hopefully next week we will blah blah blah. Hopefully by next week I will have my replacement 68030 processors in. This is the Mac 2 VX that I worked on a while ago. We have about 27 repaired traces on this thing. This thing was battery bombed. But when I went to go take the processor off, because I thought there might be something wrong with the processor, 3 of the legs fell off of the processor because there was a lot of corrosion on the chip itself. So I'm waiting for new 68030 processors to come in. Soldering this 386 was sort of practice, I guess, for that. So if they come in, we'll do that next weekend. If not, maybe we'll work on the Voodoo system. So this will be the Voodoo 5, and we're gonna pair that with this. So this is a Tualatin Pentium 3 system. So I gotta get some replacement caps and do this up the right way. So yeah, I'll get those caps in for next week, and maybe we'll work on that if my 68030s don't come in. All right, thank you all so much for stopping by today. I'm sorry that we didn't get a 50 megahertz crappy old 386, but we learned something. Have a good week, y'all. Tech Ambrosia is streaming tonight at 6 o'clock Eastern, and Dave's Vintage Apple Tech always every Sunday at 11. Have a really lovely week, y'all. Thank you so much. Oh, and Francois Rival is streaming in like an hour or so.